Hello and welcome back to the Trainers of the World Tournament. I'm your host DeltaTDS, and for match number 116, we've got the Kalos gym leader Korrina going up against the Sinnoh gym leader Crasher Wake. Korrina, mostly known for being the one to beat Red back in round 2. Crasher Wake beating Sharon 2-1. Today we're going to see which of these two gym leaders will be moving on to round 4. Korrina's got the Mega Lucario, Crasher Wake's got the Mega Gyarados. And once these trainers are ready, we can begin at match 116. Korrina leading off with the Hawlucha, Crasher Wake leading off with the Scizor. Very odd Pokemon for his team, but it was in his battle tower, so. Hawlucha going with the Sky Attack. Gonna do over half the Scizor as Aerial Ace takes out Hawlucha immediately. That was a lot stronger than what I expected. I want to check this. I'm curious. Ah, that makes sense. Okay. Sitting at the Mienshao, knocking off that Damp Rock from the Politoed. Mienshao lives on 1 HP thanks to that Focus Sash. Mienshao going for a U-turn, getting out of there. Wanting to get a few more fake outs off. Switching into the Chestnut. Skull's going to do about a third to Chestnut. No burn, which would have been helpful for Crasher Wake. Switching out to the Gyarados, getting that Intimidate off, as Chestnut Leech Seeds that Gyarados. Switching out to the Scizor, Super Fang's gonna do half of Scizor's health. Going for a Spiky Shield, Aerial Ace, gonna not do anything, and Scizor takes damage from that Spiky Shield. Another Aerial Ace does take out Chestnut, and both Pokemon faint. Oh, it wasn't even to the Spiky Shield, it was to the Rocky Helmet. No, what am I saying? God. Sitting back out that Mienshao, Crasher Wake sitting out the Floatzel. Fake out, gonna get free damage off. High jump kicks, gonna take out that Floatzel. Bringing us to 4v4 right now. Politoed with that Drizzle, gonna only be 5 turns now instead of 8. High jump kick, taking out the Politoed as well. Gyarados probably not going to want to Mega Evolve here with these high jump kicks being thrown out and about. The same with the U-turn. As Mienshao goes for it and switches out to Anticipation is killing. Switches out to Pangoro as Gyarados sets up a Dragon Dance. Gyarados already looking scary. Aqua Tail's gonna take out that Pangoro. Choosing not to Mega Evolve, which is pretty smart in front of a fighting type team. Going for another Aqua Tail, taking out the Machamp. Gyarados in this rain, one of the most terrifying things you can imagine. Just thankfully it's not Mega. Fake Out's gonna do just a bit of chip damage to Gyarados as the rain does end, making its Aqua Tail not as powerful. Aqua Tail missing. High jump kick missing, doing half health to Mienshao. Nobody's landing anything this turn. Earthquake, much safer option, it takes out that Mienshao. It's all down to Lucario here. Gonna Mega Evolve. Earthquake does take out Lucario. And with 3 Pokemon left, Crasher Wake takes game number 1. We saw nothing from Suicune or Armaldo. Obviously, they weren't sent out. Floatzel, we saw nothing from. Really, only stuff from Gyarados, Politoed, and Scizor. We didn't see the Mega Gyarados, which I don't think we will this match. Probably for the best. We saw nothing from Machamp or Pangoro or Lucario. We saw everything from Mienshao, nearly everything from Chestnut, and just the Power Herb Sky Attack from Hawlucha. But we are back on the field for game number 2, and once these trainers are ready, we can see if Korrina will be moving on to round. No. We'll be seeing if Crasher Wake moves on to round 4, or if Korrina's bringing this to a game 3. That was not edited, not at all. I know what I'm talking about. Crasher Wake leading off with that Floatzel, Korrina with that Mienshao. Very popular lead. Intimidating that Mienshao. Gonna go for Fake Out, dealing 11% to Gyarados. Going for a U-turn, switching out of there into the Chestnut. As Gyarados goes for a Dragon Dance. I know we've seen Gyarados have Aqua Tail and Earthquake. So there's probably a third attacking move that it's got. Maybe an Ice Fang, who knows. God forbid Game Freak give Gyarados any good flying type moves, like Brave Bird. Chestnut going for the Leech Seed, missing as Crasher Wake switches out to that Armaldo. X's are going to do a quarter to Chestnut. Drain Punch going to do a quarter to Armaldo. Switching out to the Politoed, setting up that Drizzle as Politoed gets seeded. Going for a Perish Song as Chestnut goes for a Super Fang. Switching out to the Scizor. Super Fang gonna be good on that Scizor with it resisting a lot of types. Aerial Ace does take out that Chestnut. Scizor is left with 34% health left. Currently at 5v6 right now. Korrina sending out the Hawlucha here. Gonna go for Sky Attack, taking out that Scizor. And Crasher Wake sends out the Floatzel here. Pokemon we didn't see a lot from in game 1. Or anything from in game 1. Aqua Tail does take out the Hawlucha, revealing that Floatzel does have that Life Orb. Korrina sending out that Pangoro, another Pokemon we haven't seen a lot from. Bullet Punch doing 19% to Floatzel. Brick Break's gonna do just under 3/4 to Pangoro. Going for another Bullet Punch. Brick Break does take out that Pangoro, and Floatzel's left on a third of its health left. Going for that Machamp. Yet another Pokemon we didn't see a lot from. Aqua Tail doing 2/3 to that Machamp. Knockoff does take out that Floatzel. And revealing that Machamp does have that Flame Orb. Most likely also has Guts as well. Politoed with the Scald in the rain is going to take out that Machamp, leaving Korrina with 2 Pokemon remaining. Sending out the Lucario here. Yet another Pokemon we didn't see a lot from, mainly because it got outsped by Gyarados. Going for the Swords Dance. Earth Power is going to take Lucario down to 15% and get the special defense drop on it. Close Combat does take out the Politoed. Sending out the Suicune here. Going for the Close Combat, taking out the Suicune. Hold on. Going into the Gyarados. Cutting down one of those attack boosts. Close Combat still taking out the Gyarados. It's all down to Armaldo here. Bullet Punch takes out the Armaldo. The Lucario sweep. Bringing it back for Korrina. As she takes game number 2. We're going on to game 3. Something I've noticed a lot in round 3 is we're seeing a lot more game 3s. And I feel like as we move on closer to the end of this tournament, we're going to see a lot more of them. But we saw something from all of Crasher Wake's team except for the Suicune. And we finally got to see something from that Mega Lucario. Still nothing from the Mega Gyarados, which might be for the best. We are back on the field for game number 3. And we're going to see if Korrina can move on to round 4, or if Crasher Wake moves on to round 4. One of these gym leaders are moving on. Crasher Wake leading off with the Politoed, setting up the rain with that Damp Rock. Korrina with that Lucario. Gonna go Mega Evolve, going for the Swords Dance immediately. Critical hit Earth Power, takes out the Lucario. Not giving it a chance. Immediately just taking out Korrina's ace. Right off the bat. Korrina sending out that Mienshao. She's gonna have to compensate for losing such a powerful Pokemon. High Jump Kick's gonna do just over a quarter to that Gyarados. Gyarados probably gonna go for a Dragon Dance here. Mienshao U-turning with the critical hits, taking Gyarados down to 52%. Going for the Aqua Tail instead. Gyarados is left with just over a third as it switches out to Scizor. Chestnut leech seeding that Scizor. Both Pokemon are at the same amount of health. Aerial Acing that Spiky Shield's gonna hurt. Going for that Aerial Ace does take out the Chestnut. Scizor, currently seated, sits at just under half health right now. Aerial Ace taking out the Pangoro. Mienshao being sent out here. Going for the Fake Outs. Doing a little bit of chip damage. Going for that High Jump Kick. Does take out that Scizor. Crasher Wake's down his first Pokemon as he starts back up that rain. Knockoff gonna get rid of that Damp Rock, as Mienshao is taken down to the Sash and burned. Just unfortunate for Korrina. Literally the luck is just against her in this game. Korrina sending out the Hawlucha here. We've seen this thing with the Sky Attack Power Herb combo. Switching out to that Gyarados, intimidating the Hawlucha. Still taking out the Gyarados, as Floatzel is sent out here. Hawlucha, not a big fan of that attack drop, as Aqua Tail takes out the Hawlucha, and it's all down to Machamp here. Aqua Tail does 90% to Machamp. Facade does about 50 to Floatzel. Bullet Punch, not enough to take out the Floatzel. Machamp falls, and with 4 Pokemon remaining, Crasher Wake takes Game 3 by a landslide. That Politoed really wanted the win. Really wanted to move on to round 4, be the funny frog. But Crasher Wake will be moving on to round 4, where he'll be going up against the Leon. So, join us tomorrow where we will be seeing another gym leader face-off. Berg versus Misty. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, take care.